It's pretty amazing when you stop and think about it. The sheer variety of what animals eat, and maybe even more importantly, how they eat it. So today, we're going to dive right into the animal kingdom's menu and uncover some of those secrets.
Have you ever wondered about this? You've got a cow, right? It seems to be just chewing all day long. But then you have a snake that can eat like one huge meal and be totally fine for a week, maybe even longer. So what's up with that?
Well, the whole answer really boils down to their food. It's about what they're eating and, just as importantly, how their bodies are perfectly built to handle it. So yeah, let's get into it.
Okay, so first things first. Let's start with the big, basic question. Why do animals even need to eat? The simple answer is, it's all about fuel.
Every single animal, I don't care if it's a tiny little insect or a massive blue whale, they all need food for pretty much three basic reasons. First off, just to stay alive, right? Then they need it to grow. And finally, they need it for energy. Energy for literally everything they do, whether it's hunting, running around, or even just breathing.
So depending on what's on the menu, we can pretty much sort the entire animal kingdom into three big groups. You could almost think of it like they have three main types of restaurants to choose from.
First up, you've got your herbivores. These are the plant eaters, the vegetarians of the animal world, and their diet is all about plants. But here's the thing. Getting all the good stuff out of tough things like grass and leaves, that takes some serious biological gear. Just look at animals like cows, elephants, and giraffes.
Next, we have the carnivores, the meat eaters. Their entire diet is built around that high-energy meal you get from eating other animals. And yeah, this group includes the famous predators you're thinking of, tigers, lions, sharks, but don't forget the super important scavengers like vultures. They're basically the cleanup crew of the ecosystem. And rounding out our big three, we have the omnivores. These are the everything eaters. They're not picky. They'll eat both plants and meat. This flexibility means they can thrive just about anywhere. Think about a bear, right? It'll happily eat berries one day and catch a fish the next. Or a crow. We all know how resourceful they can be.
And guess what? This brings us right back to us. Yep, humans are textbook omnivores. Our diets have always included a mix of stuff from plants, like fruits and veggies, and animal products, like meat and eggs.
But wait, it gets even cooler. It's not just about what they eat. It's about how they eat it. An animal's diet literally shapes its body, especially its mouth and teeth. They're like perfectly designed tools for a specific job. Come on, let's take a closer look. Seriously, if you want to know the story, just look at the teeth. An herbivore, it's got these big, broad, flat teeth in the back, perfect for grinding and grinding and grinding all those tough plants. But a carnivore? Totally different story. Long, sharp, pointy teeth made for one thing and one thing only, tearing into meat. It's a perfect case of the tool fitting the job. And speaking of those herbivores, some of them have this wild process. So animals like cows and goats, they'll just nibble and swallow their food without really chewing it first. Then, later, when they're just chilling out, they actually bring that food back up into their mouths to give it a proper chew. Kind of weird, right? It's called chewing the cud, and it's all part of this super complex system they have to squeeze every single nutrient out of their food.
Then you've got the gnawers. We're talking about animals like rats, rabbits, and squirrels. They have these incredible front teeth that are basically like little chisels. They're just perfectly made for gnawing away at hard stuff like seeds and nuts.
And then there are the ones that are like chewing? No thanks. I'm talking about animals like lizards, frogs, and snakes. They don't bother biting their food into little pieces. Nope, they just swallow their prey whole. And that's exactly how a snake can eat something that looks way, way bigger than its own head.
Okay, pop quiz time. Based on everything we've just talked about, the special tools and diets, which animal do you think has jaws that are strong enough to literally crack bones?
If you said the tiger, you nailed it. Absolutely right. That combination of super sharp teeth and ridiculously powerful jaws gives it the brute force needed to crack right through bone. Talk about leaving no leftovers. It's just a perfect example of a body being built for the job.
So all this stuff about diets isn't just for wildlife documentaries. It's actually super important for the animals we share our homes with, our pets.
Think about it. Our domestic animals, they rely on us for everything. And that means we have a responsibility to understand what they're supposed to be eating. Knowing that your cat is a carnivore or your dog is an omnivore, that's so crucial for their health. It goes hand in hand with giving them a safe place to live and taking care of them.
All right, that was a whirlwind tour, wasn't it? Let's just quickly go over the big ideas we've covered about the animal kingdom's menu.
So here's the bottom line. First, animals basically fall into those three groups: herbivores, carnivores, and omnivores. Second, their bodies, especially their teeth, are perfectly tuned to what they eat. Third, how they eat is super diverse, from chewing cud to just swallowing food whole. And last but not least, understanding all this is a huge part of taking good care of the pets that depend on us.
When you get right down to it, for any animal, it's true. You are what you eat. Their whole body, their behavior, their spot in the ecosystem, it's all defined by their diet. So that leaves me with one last question for you. Since we're omnivores, what does your diet say about you?